This podcast is also sponsored by Kadan Kadan. Kadan Kadan is a new groupage app that allows you to share space within a shipping container so that you can save costs when it comes to your logistics and transportation. Visit kadankadan.com to learn more, or visit the Instagram page Kadan Kadan Official. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Malobi from the Kadan Kadan pod, and she's going to be speaking to us about her business in Australia. Of all the countries that we've spoken with so far, we've never had a guest from Australia. So I'm really looking forward to this one to hear about, how she got into her business, what she does, and she's also into value addition. So this is going to be really interesting. Amara, what time is it over there first? Is it evening, afternoon, morning?
It is 8:20 p.m., so it's definitely evening.
Okay, awesome. Amazing. So, Amara, we met at the Houston Trade Show, hosted by Fidelity Bank, and it was a great experience. I'll reserve my comments on how it went and how it could have gone better, but can you tell us a little bit about your business? What do you do? And how long have you been in this business?
So I'm a chef by profession, a food entrepreneur. I literally cook food. I like to feed people. That's what I do. But I decided to step out of the ordinary and make something global out of what I do. I realized that I cook very well. It's evident because I always have recurring customers, and the client base keeps expanding, right? And Nigeria is just an untapped gold mine, our culture and everything. So I decided to, combine, a synergy between my culinary skills and my culture, where I've come from. So I decided to put Nigeria on the global stage through food. That was how we got about the commercialization of Nigerian food. We don't only do catering, we've commercialized Nigerian food through our ready meals, and also we have our sauce line, which comprises of the stew base that's already cooked stew in jars, and jollof paste in jars as well. So Michiz, my name of my company, by the way, is Michiz Food. Michiz Foods is all about our brand, is all about convenience. Helping you buy your time back with little, or with little money, and you can buy your time back. So yeah, and we also have the raw produce, which like Nigerian raw produce, our ready meals, and our sauce line. So that's what Michiz Food is literally all about.
Awesome.
And how long have I been doing this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just trying to answer the second question. So cooking has been a thing for me. It's actually a hobby. I love to cook. I love to entertain people, and I'm very nurturing in nature. So I've been cooking since university, but I turned it into a business just 7 years ago. And we've been growing. It started as just a catering company, and we've now expanded to commercialized cooking. Taking the world by storm.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And I have a lot of questions actually. The first one that comes to mind is, you mentioned you have jollof stew and jollof paste, right? And for some of us bachelors out there who suck at cooking, can you just explain the difference between the two?
So we have jollof paste. So jollof paste is the base you use in making your jollof rice. So how does it work? You get your jollof rice in a jar, wash your rice, add the jollof paste, rice, and adjust the seasoning based on your palate. So it's good for bachelors, it's good for novices. If you don't know how to do anything in the kitchen, that particular jar of jollof paste will make you look like a pro by cooking the best jollof rice you've ever tasted in your entire life. So it's a canvas to make any type of Nigerian stew of your choice. So with that, you can make goat stew if you want, All you need to do is to add goats. Cook your goat and add the goats. If you want fish, add fish. If you want chicken, add chicken, and it turns into chicken stew, goat stew, fish stew, whatever stew. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you leave it as it is, because our stew base is vegan friendly, it's vegetarian friendly. It doesn't have dairy or meat products inside of it. So it's basically a canvas that you can use to make any type of stew you want, because it's already cooked stew base, properly fried with all the herbs, onion, ginger, garlic, salt, vegetable based seasoning inside of it. So you can actually eat it out of the jar if you open it. So those are the two different ones. So jollof paste for jollof rice, and the stew base for the stew of your choice.
All right. That makes a lot of sense. And I remember when I first, got to know about your business, I was really excited, because when I first moved to Nigeria, this is exactly what I was looking for. Because in
Right.
the UK, I was buying a lot of these like jarred curries, like Thai curries and Indian curries and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just good to see that we have a Nigerian alternative. People were telling me though that Nigerians, they prefer the frozen stew. They don't want to be eating all this artificial blah blah blah. So have you got that kind of feedback? And what is it that you tell people when they say stuff like that? They push back on the
Right.
jarred stews.
Right. So first of all, you need to understand that I'm a chef, right? So I know what I'm doing, right? And if there is anything, I've always preached against any preservatives at all. So the thing is, thank God for science, there are ways around those things. There is no one atom of preservatives in our products. It's organic, that is clean as clean can be. So one can ask us, so how do you keep it on the shelf for 12 to 18 months without it going bad? It's simple science. So when our product goes through the canning process, it kills off every microorganisms around it, sucks out the oxygen from the jar, and it automatically locks it. So when it's locked out the oxygen, because it's the presence of oxygen that that helps with the decay of any food. In the absence of oxygen, the food can be kept for 12 to 18 months with nothing happening to it. It's as good as fresh each time you open it. But the only thing is, once you open it and there is an introduction of oxygen back into the food, it needs to be refrigerated and consumed within 3 days. So our product is very clean. There are no preservatives, because we put a lot of things into consideration. And me being very health conscious, I always eat clean. I don't want the nasties in it. So I can't have a product and have nasties in it. So I did my research properly before going into this venture.
Excellent. And the key word there, you mentioned, you're a chef, you know what you're talking about, you've been doing it for a while. And we did have a brief conversation about this as well, because when we were at the event, I told you about my food business I'm working on, trying to get into value addition as well. And then I told you that I was looking to get a food scientist. Can you explain for people that are maybe looking to get into like food processing, what is the difference between getting a chef and a food scientist? What are the different roles that both of them play in the sort of development of a new product?
So the chef knows what the food should taste like, and the food scientist knows the science behind the food. So it's actually a collaboration to give the client the best product ever, right? So for me, I've worked with different dietitians, I've worked with food scientists, and with my own knowledge. So I know I don't know it all. There are things that I don't know, that I need to get knowledge from, and this is where the food scientists come to play. They're able to tell you, okay, this is how many calories in this thing, and this is what's with this XYZ amount of particular ingredients, it might alter what it is that you're looking for. Knowing that, say for example, you put a certain type of preservative inside your food, the food scientists will be able to tell you it's going to alter this, alter that, and this could be the side effect or whatever, right? So the chef is as important as the food scientist. So the chef knows what the process of getting the food to the right texture, right taste, and everything. and the food scientist would tell you the science behind it, the health benefits, because there's a certain way you process food and it alters the genetics of the food and it gives you a different, outcome. So it's a good marriage to both the chef and the food scientist. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
No, you answered it perfectly. Because it's important to know these things, and a lot of the time we're always just learning by ourselves, and we're going online and stuff, and so it's good to hear from someone that's actually developed a product, to know, okay, like from your explanation, people can know, okay, at this stage that I'm at right now, do I actually need a chef? Do I need a food scientist, etc. And then another question is, because a lot of the time as well, we're doing this ourselves and we're trying to experiment in the kitchen and stuff like that. So do you recommend for people to get professionals to help them? Or do you think, if you have the time, just get and try and learn your own product as much as possible and try and do as much yourself as possible? Or do you just think it just depends on each person's situation?
So I will say it depends on each person's situation, because for me, this is a passion that I have. And this is a recipe that I've used over time to have a consistency. I don't know if that makes sense. So let's say, for example, someone that has no knowledge or know what the culinary world is all about, but has a business sense of wanting a certain food product. Number one, you will be disadvantaged because you don't even know what the product should have or shouldn't have. And you're depending on somebody else to do the work for you. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a situation that you have and you have to work with a lot of people. But for people like us, that this is a recipe we have at the back of our hands, we've used over and over and over again I've been cooking since university, and this will be, my son is turning 13, and I finished university before I had my son. So that would be like 15 years ago. And so we were uni 3 years. So I'm talking about 18 years ago. I've had some recipes that I keep developing and making better, right? So I have this at the back of my hands. I know how those things work. Okay, so it's easier for me to meet a professional, let's say, for example, a food scientist or a dietitian, and I say, hey, listen, this is my recipe, look at it. How do you think we can come up with, the nutritional facts of what I already have? Because I already have a recipe. Oh, sorry, I called Amy. Because I already have a recipe. So I would say it depends on your situation. Okay. And let me tell you, don't let anything stop you from doing whatever you want to do. If you have no, knowledge about food, research, learn. There's always room to learn. There's always room to reinvent yourself. And if you want to go into food business, you need to put yourself into the food business. Don't just be about the money. Your product should represent who you are. You should be able to, for me, I said to myself, I want my product to stand beside Hands and all those big names and still be proud of itself. You know what I'm trying to say? So whatever your situation is, whether it's your field or not, learn. There's always room for you to learn. And you'll find out it's not even as you thought it was, and you don't really need a lot of all this professionals to start from the beginning. For me, I will tell you, do the necessary groundwork, do your research, get the necessary knowledge. If you're bringing someone else on board, let it be that they're sharing your vision and not telling you the direction in which to go. So yeah.
Amazing. This is great. This is very inspirational as well. So I think that's a good kind of summary of the kind of product development side. I wanted to touch a little bit on the market that you're operating in, right? So you're in Australia. Some people might not know, very much about Australia. Are there even Nigerians in Australia? So can you tell us a little bit about the Australian market? Like, are there many Nigerians over there? And how have people received? What's been the reception on your product?
So, right. So the reception has been very fantastic. Like, it amazes me how, because if there's anything about Nigerians, you're always very particular about our food, because what you're offering them, most people know how to do it, especially when it comes to family. However, for my business strategy, I'm not just looking out for Africans or Nigerians. If you want to, for me, I've always wanted to break into the global stage. I'm breaking to the global stage. My target is the non-Africans. So my gospel is, I want to teach you how to eat my food. I want to teach you how easy my food is. Get to know me through my food, because it's my culture, is part of who I am. Right. And the good thing is that Nigeria is doing so well, irrespective of, the shortcomings we have from the government or whatever, or the situation, how things are back home. But Nigerians are doing well. Our music is really pushing us to the limelight, and people are, beginning to know who we are, what we represent, and want to associate with us. So is the wave I'm riding on, the popularity Nigeria is getting from our music industry. It's also getting popularity in our culinary industry as well. So it's an opportunity I'm also tapping into. Yes, the Nigerian or the African, market is good. However, someone like me, my brand is a global brand. So I'm not just looking at our brothers and sisters to patronize me. It is fantastic. I love them too, and they are. However, my other market is the Caucasians, the Asians, because everywhere you go, there is Thai food. Everywhere you go, there is Indian curry. Everywhere you go, there is Chinese, even Italian, because pasta here, pasta there, pizza this, pizza that. Why is there no African food? Where is there no Nigerian food? And we are giant of Africa, right? So my niche is not necessarily just our people. It's fantastic. I love my people. Without them, I wouldn't be here. However, my other niche is the non-Africans. So I'm not looking at the population that we have here in Australia, the African population we have here in Australia, but I'm looking at the Australian, in at large, everybody, be you Greek, be you Italian, be you English, whatever you are, be you Lebanese. I want you to want to eat my food, to eat the Nigerian food. However, the Australian population is quite small. So the whole of Australia is like 5% of, let's say, the American market or even the Nigerian market. You get what I'm trying to say? But I live in Australia. I am Nigerian Australian, right? And I needed to dominate where I've come from. However, my eyes is not just in Australia; it's every other place in the world.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's brilliant. That's well said. Even myself, I had to break out of this, let's just focus on the African market, right? When the Chinese, like you said, the Thai, when they sell in different countries, they're not just thinking, oh, I want to sell to Thai people. So you want to get a bigger market, you want to get the global market. So this is really, really good to hear. So I also wanted to talk about, the kind of manufacturing side of things, right? Because obviously you're in Australia, but you're selling Nigerian food. So do you have your own supply chain in Asia, or do you have it coming all the way from Nigeria? You're shipping containers to Australia with your ingredients, and then you're kind of making it there. Both for the stews and the ready-made stuff. Are you kind of building your own supply chain in Asia or Africa?
So for the stews, all the ingredients we use for our stews, because we produce in Australia, everything is Australian products, is Australian produce. So the only thing that comes from Africa is when because we also have ready meals, right? So our ready meals is egusi, afang, edika icon, and all of that. So though that line, because that particular side of the business, everything we import, every single ingredient from Nigeria, because we want to keep it authentic. We want you eating our food and thinking, oh, I feel like I'm in Lagos. Oh, I feel like I'm somewhere in Onitsha. Or I feel like I'm somewhere in Abuja, Enugu, wherever in Nigeria that you come from, you get. So our ready meals, that it's Nigerian food, our local delicacies, everything we import from Nigeria. Then our stew base and our jollof paste, every single produce comes from the Australian farm. So the reason why we did that is to cut our overhead cost, right? So those ones, they come from Australian farm, but every other thing comes from Nigeria.
Well said, well said, well said. Really, really interesting business that you have here. And with every business, there's growth, there's challenges, there's ups and downs. So I'll be keen to know, like, what kind of like difficulties or challenges do you have as a kind of food processor in Australia? Because the reason why I ask this is because we have different people from all over the world listening to the podcast. Some people could maybe jump in and try to partner with you or assist you. So for the purposes of, partnerships and stuff, what are the kind of bottlenecks in what you're doing right now?
So first of all, this is the first of its kind, trying to commercialize Nigerian food. And it's very sad because I've been going for a lot of exhibitions. This year alone, I think I went for about 8 exhibitions within Australia. And it was sad to see that a lot of non-Africans, even not even non-African, even some Africans don't know our food, the Nigerian food. So it's a lot of work. Is a lot of work because one thing that the people that came before us did very badly is branding, the way they represented our food. They represented our food so poorly that you don't want to associate with it. That was why in Michiz Foods, we are very keen on branding, right? So the challenges we've had is actually putting ourselves out there and letting our product convince people that you actually can eat this food. This food matches with your pasta or your Thai or whatever, Thai fried rice or whatever, other menu that is out there. Our food can equally give you that satisfaction and get your palate thanking you for, savoring in such a flavorful food, right? So that is one. Then number 2, being a small business, it's really hard. Funding it's hard because you're using your hard-earned money to put this out there. So we have challenges with funding. But the thing is, because I'm a chef and I have other streams of income and it's still the same cooking. I'm into catering, for events and all that. So we know how to generate money in order to put into the commercialization of the food. So those are a few things. Just knowing the food, for people to know the food, because the truth is, once they get to taste the food, I have some, in our data, most of our buyers are Asians. They keep coming back to buy more, not even Africans. It will surprise you. Oh yeah, our most popular buyers are Asians, because they found out that it's very similar, especially the Filipinos, it's very similar to what they have. It's just that it's from Africa, right? So the challenges I would say with food processing is if what you are offering people to buy is alien to them, there's a lot of convincing to do for them to just try this product because for sure that it's quality and they're going to get hooked. You know what I mean? So that is one. Number 2 is funding. Because the banks wouldn't want to listen to you. They're like, okay, what's the prospects of this? What are the potentials? If we give you this money, will it come back? People don't know what you're doing and all that. But you just keep pushing and pushing and keep pressing buttons and knocking on doors and just do what you have to do. It's really fulfilling because if not, I wouldn't be here. Coming to Houston was because we want to go into the North American market, which is already a thing. By before the end of first quarter 2024, our product is going to be everywhere in America and Canada because we've already started production as I speak to you. You know what you get what I'm saying? So there are challenges. Nice. It's not funny. It's not fun, Then I'll tell you, go for exhibitions, go for festivals, pop-ups, do what you have to do to put yourself out there. To put your product out there. It's going to take a lot of money, but just keep pushing.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Especially with the first challenge you mentioned, getting people to know the products, know Nigerian food and all that. So aside from, you by yourself, right, going out there to events and exhibitions and tasters and all these things, what else do you think could be done to expose other cultures to Nigerian cuisine? Have you had any other thoughts outside of what you personally are doing right now?
So the thing is, thank God for social media, thank God for the internet space, right? So and thank God for food content creators, really, because they're doing massively well with what they do. Because honestly, people buy from you like, oh, I saw someone post this on how to do this, that's I'm buying this and all that. So all I'll say is, we just need to intensify with, content creation around Nigerian food, have more conversations about, who we are through our food, and get people interested, get them curious to want to know more about us, and so listen, what we are doing is to make our food accessible to them. So if we can push it from that angle, and also push from the angle of, hey, the food is already here, it's already in your face, they will try it. And the popularity will just keep going and going and going. And listen, there's a ripple effect. It's not just about me, it's about the next generation coming up, it's about the next person that is doing what I'm doing. Like I tell people in the culinary industry, the sky is still big for all of us. If you do what you're doing, you're creating awareness. I do what I'm doing, I'm creating awareness. You don't know where your next customer is going to come from. You don't know what they've seen, where they've seen it. So we just need to just be diligent in pushing out, content about Nigerian food and the benefits, the health benefits, and how delicious it is, because it is delicious.
It is delicious indeed. This is amazing. It's been a really information packed, enlightening conversation, and I thank you for that. I guess the next question for me would be what's next for Michiz Foods? What do you got in the pipeline? I know you mentioned something about the North American market. So where do you see your company going in the future?
So we're hoping. No, we know we're going to be global very soon. We've already kicked off the movement, right? And we're going back to the motherland to offer people the confidence that we offer them here in the abroad.
Nice.
So we're going back to the motherland. So definitely, in Nigeria, look out for Michiz Foods. We are coming, and we're all about the convenience. We don't want you stressing yourself in the kitchen, dealing with splatters, or having to think, what will my kids eat, or whatever. So we are coming, look out for Michiz Food in Nigeria and every other place in Africa, because what Michiz does, we take it by the continent. We don't take it by country. So we've come into Australia. We're dealing with Australia and New Zealand. We are going into the North American market. So we're dealing with America and Canada, right? And once we come to Nigeria by the mid of 2024, it's not just going to be Nigeria, it's going to be Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, and I'm calling those countries because we already have partners waiting to jump on board, to make this come true. So yeah.
Wow, amazing. I honestly, I wish Michiz Foods was available when I was in university, because I would have been eating that stuff every day. But yeah, thank you so much for this conversation. It's been short and sweet, but I think there's a lot of information in there. So thanks again. Can you share your social media? Like, how can people reach out to you if they want to buy your product, or just connect with you in general?
So if you want to connect with me personally, it's Amara the Billionaire Chef. Amara, my first name, THE, the Billionaire Chef. Yeah, because we do big things.
Billionaire, that's billionaire with a B. That's with a B, guys.
Billionaire with a B, honey. Amara the Billionaire Chef with a B. And the business handle is Michiz Foods. That's it. Just Michiz Foods. MICHIZ FOODS. Michiz Foods. At Michiz Foods, both on Facebook and on Instagram.
Amazing. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna leave you to it. I know it's evening over there in Australia, so thanks for coming on the podcast, and looking forward to seeing your stuff all around the world, Nigeria, UK as well. But yeah, it'll be good to see your stuff around there. So
UK,
thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you, Malobi, for having me. I appreciate.
All right. Bye.